Okay, we're going to talk about inserts, which will be a lot of fun. What is an insert? It's just something that's inserted into the path of the audio signal. So the audio signal is coming down the channel, and an insert is stuck in front of it. So the audio signal has to pass through whatever is inserted, and then it gets changed by it, and then comes out the other side and continues on down the channel. So this is how we apply effects of all kinds to our audio for each track. Now they're called inserts, so what gets inserted? Well, plugins get inserted. Plugins are the name we give to these little programs that change our audio in a certain way. So there's so many kinds of plugins. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many kinds there are, and they can do like a billion things. It's actually insane. Really cool stuff, like so much fun to use. But there's some fundamental ones that we really got to know about, because mixing is based around a few key plugins that determine how we shape the sound of a track. So let's take a look at those. When we want to insert a plugin as an insert, we come to our track. I'm going to come and take the electric piano, wherever that is right now. Here it is. I'm going to solo that. I'm going to go to my inserts, push the plus. I'm going to go to Presonus, that's the category you will have, and here are all the different plugins that come with Studio One that we can use. The first thing I want to talk about is EQ. I'm just going to give a brief overview of it. So I'm going to put this Pro EQ on, and now check out what happens if I play this. So as you can hear, EQ is changing how the tone of the electric piano sounds. That's what its main function is shaping the frequencies of our sound. We're going to learn about that in the future. The next plugin we'll take a look at is called a compressor. And I'm going to grab my compressor in here and play it on my drums. And I'm going to just put it to a crazy setting. Getting quiet. Hear what it's doing to my drums now? I'm going to turn it off. Normal drums. What the compressor is doing is changing the dynamics of the drums. It's making all the really quiet parts super loud and turning down the loud parts so that the loud parts and the quiet parts become the same volume. And off. Pretty cool sound. We're also going to learn about that in the future. Now let's talk about reverb. I'm going to take my little bells. I'll turn them up so we can hear. And I'm going to put a reverb on them. Check this out. Here's a different kind of reverb. Here's it turned off. On. So as you can see, it basically makes the sound as if it's in a big space. And that's actually what we're going to learn about in the next video. Check this out. Now I've got a delay on the same sound. Can hear how it creates little echoes. After we learn about reverb, we're going to learn about that. Okay, I'm in a new section of the song and I got that little guitar part. I'm going to put some modulation on there, so I'll use a phaser. Pretty crazy, hey? So modulation plugins actually shift around the frequencies over time inside of the sound and cause all sorts of weird warping and stretching and twisting sounding effects for whatever sound they're put on. So as you can probably see by now, what plugins do is take audio signals, run them through a program and change them in some way and then send them out changed. And some of the main features of these plugins is that they have the ability to be turned on and off. So here's the phaser again on, turn it off. But they can also be put in the middle. They don't have to be just on and off. They have knobs on them that are either called dry wet or depth. Dry wet means when you're fully dry, that means that you have none of the effect on at all, no plugin. And when it's fully wet, that means that you're only hearing the plugin and you're not hearing the original sound even a little bit anymore. You're hearing only the affected, changed version of it. So for instance, here on the phaser, I have this depth knob, which does the same thing. So check this out. I'll turn it down. It's a little bit less now. You can kind of hear it. Down to nothing. Up to full. Now you're really hearing it. So it's these knobs, dry, wet, and depth, that are really important to us, because when we insert an effect, a plugin, we probably don't want to have it all the way wet or full depth. It would be better to have it somewhere in the middle that sounds appropriate and gives us the effect we want while still not being overpowering. So all that being said, let's get into learning about reverb.